Kill me! I'm here! Kill me!
Hey everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of 1984, a movie that coincidentally enough came out in the year 1984. For those of you who aren't aware of this film or the story that it's based on, it's an adaptation of a classic George Orwell novel that is one of my all-time favorite books. And it's the story where you get the terms like Big Brother from, and thought police, and thought crime, and all that kind of stuff. And basically they live in a dystopian future where a government has taken over their society to the point where they're not allowed to think bad things about them. I mean, obviously they can't read their minds or whatever, but if their actions make it look like they're thinking poorly of them, then that's a problem, and they'll be indoctrinated, and they have to live their lives in a very regimented fashion, and give all praise to Big Brother, the grand leader of their society. And it's just a really interesting story about human nature in that kind of situation. And the main character in this movie, I think, has a really interesting job where basically he has to go back through the history books and erase people who have been erased, who have been destroyed because they weren't falling into line. And it really works amazingly to really draw you into the world and give you a real idea of the danger that is implicit in even in any way openly disrespecting the ruling class. And this movie what ends up happening, and without giving any major spoilers away, is the main character questions his role in society and the society itself for one of the first times after years of just kind of sleepwalking through life. And this movie to me is just a very, very good adaptation of the novel. I mean, like anything else, there's stuff that's missing. There's stuff that, I got more out of the novel than I did out of the film, but as a big fan of the novel, I really did enjoy this adaptation. I think it's a very effective retelling of the story and putting it into another medium that will make it so that more people will have seen it. And I definitely think that if you're a fan of kind of thrillers or dystopian movies or thought-provoking films, this is one to check out if you haven't yet. I'll say this I'm not going to say what happens in the scene or why I felt the way I did, but there's a moment that comes in the latter part of this film where your heart just tears in two, and you can it's up in your throat because you're like like you just did. I remember reading in the book, and even when I saw it again in the film, even though I knew what was about to happen because I had read the book, just feeling like completely taken aback by it. And it's just such an effective moment. And then this movie has one of the most interesting endings of a film ever, and it's very faithful to the ending of the book. I mean, it doesn't go into the same level of it doesn't go into it to the same level, just because obviously it can't. You don't have the internal monologue. It just doesn't. It's just a different medium. But as far as like the actual concept of the ending, it's very faithful, and it really is a great capper to the story, and it gives you a really interesting perspective on what it's like to be in what it would be like to be in a society like that. And, those of us in North America or in Europe or in any other country that's free, we take certain kind of rights for granted. And then you look you watch this movie, and it really makes you kind of reflect on what it would be like to be in some of these other societies, like North Korea, for instance, where you're not free to speak your mind on any number of stories, and not stories, but any number of situations or people, and if you do, like the repercussions are going to be devastating to not only you but those around you. And it kind of gets you into that headspace and gets you imagining the horror of that kind of situation, and puts into perspective what it's like living in a society where no matter what your feelings are on what's going on around you, that you can express them relatively freely. And obviously, especially on the internet, there's always going to be the other side coming at you and telling you why you're wrong and that kind of thing. But the fact that conversation, even if it's not sometimes the most congenial, can take place is pretty remarkable in and of itself. And this movie really kind of puts that into perspective. And it's definitely a film worth watching. And also, it's a kind of warning from that kind of world, and it's just really, really thought-provoking and fascinating and emotional, and I just think this movie really, really works. So those are my thoughts on 1984. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen the movie, if you've read the book, if you're familiar with the story, what your thoughts are on it. Please hit that like button. It does awesome things for my channel. Please, please, please subscribe if you're new here. Love talking to you guys about movies, and that will make it so that you hopefully find out when I put out a new video. And other than that, after you hit that notification bell, have yourself a nice day.